Oh, what is the upskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXGamerCast. We're on episode 127 of my gaming show, where once a week I just has to talk about video games, whether they're new video games that I'm playing today, old video games from the past, it doesn't matter, video games. And today, we're going to be looking at a lot of video games. I'm going to go back and do a retrospective on my 2024 and talk about all 60 of the games. Now, I'm not going to sit there and spend 10 plus minutes on every game. Some games I'll just go over very quickly because they've had a lot of time this year, but there's some games that have slipped through the cracks that I wouldn't mind discussing. So I'm just going to go through all the games that I played in 2024, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Lots of video games to talk about. But before we do that, let's discuss what I've been up to over the last week or so, as I always encourage you. Sorry, my mouth is half frozen. I went to the dentist today, and my mouth is still frozen. So if I sound messed up, that's why. But before we get into that, let's talk about what I've been up to, and I always encourage you, the viewer, the listener, let me know what y'all have been up to. What new games are you playing right now? What movies have you seen recently? And is there any TV shows that you're diving into? Let me know, and as I let you know what I've been up to. All right, we got a lot of movies this week, y'all. I got a real movie itch, and I've been scratching it with 3 movies this week. First up, we got The Monkey Man. Monkey Man. Okay, so this one, I looked at it, and it looks very similar to John Wick, but very stylish movie. It's an action-y movie. I honestly don't even really remember the plot all that much, if I'm being honest. I don't even really remember why he was so angry. It's a very John Wick-style movie. If you like John Wick, you're definitely going to like Monkey Man. Great fight scenes. There is one fight scene in particular. I have rewatched it like 5 times now. It is spectacular. Mostly because of the music that they throw in there, but if you want to just look it up without watching the movie, just look up Monkey Man, metal fight scene, and you will get it. It's awesome, man. Like, you get this big old fight scene, and this metal music kicks in, and it is just phenomenal. The cinematography is out of control. It's a very nice looking movie. Like, the lighting, just the way that it looks, man. Very, very impressive. And that fight scene, holy shit. Like, a group of, like, people come in these, like, really intense outfits, like, dresses and shit, and they're, like, waving the dresses around, like, oh my, it was beautiful. I had to show my wife it. I was like, yo, that is definitely awesome. I had to shout out that fight scene, but yeah, Monkey Man, really good, enjoyable watch. Good action flick, 7.5 out of 10. And then I got the itch to go back a little bit and watch some all-time classics that I've just not watched yet. So the first one I chose was The Departed. Oh, baby, what a bastard movie this one is. I've seen parts of this movie, rather on YouTube. I'm semi-aware of it, but have I actually sat down and watched the movie? Not up until this point. So I was like, yo, I'm going to watch this. I want to see what it is. I want to get the whole lay of the land, see what this whole movie's about. And it's a Martin Scorsese film, so I love his movies. This is one of the few that I haven't seen yet in its entirety, so I did so. And dude, all-star cast right here. You got Matt Damon, you got Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio, you got Mark Wahlberg, and he is the most bastard motherfucker of all time. So I am definitely giving this movie extra points just because it's Boston related. I love the Boston accent, and it was fun watching, like, Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio put on a Boston accent. Matt Damon's was a little bit, I don't know about it, but yeah, dude, this movie slaps. If you have not seen it, and if you manage to have not seen any spoilers, oh my goodness, this movie will take you on a ride. I've seen the big major scene where everyone's like, oh my god, I've seen it, and I still got fucking hit with a twist, man. This movie does like a triple twist on you. It's amazing. But very cool concept of a movie. It's basically, you're in Boston, you got like the mafia and the police. So in the mafia, they have a guy in the mafia who is like, he's fucking trained to be in the police as an undercover fucking mafia guy, so he's deep in the police undercover for the mafia. And then you got the other side, you got a police officer who wants to be a police officer. That's Leonardo DiCaprio. He wants to help the police, and he ends up going undercover inside the mafia. So it's a very intense, stressful movie. Like, Leonardo DiCaprio's performance is outstanding. You can just feel the pressure of his character mounting and mounting and mounting. And you can, yeah, dude, I want to say too much without spoiling anything. The only thing I'll say is I was a little bit underwhelmed by Jack Nicholson, not gonna lie. I might have had the bar a little bit too hyped up here for him. I don't know. I just thought, like, leader of a mafia crew, he is going to just go nuts on this one. And he was good. He was good. He wasn't my favorite. I think Leo takes it. He was phenomenal in this one. But yeah, man, Jack Nicholson, there was some lines that he delivered I just didn't like. I can't really say them because it's kind of inappropriate language. But it wasn't the language that I'm not upset. It was just some of the lines were just kind of oddly written. I'm like, I have never heard someone say that before in my life. I even brought it up to my wife and she laughed. She's like, yeah, that's an interesting one. So I don't know. He talks kind of weird, not like in an accent wise, but I don't know. Again, that just might be how they talked. I think I don't know when this movie takes place, but it just might be how they talk in Boston. Regardless, wow. What a fucking movie, man. Yep, got into the twist. A little bit of a longer film. It's a 2.5-hour movie, but it didn't feel like it. It flew by. There's like, it's just got a relentless flow to it where you're just like, ooh, shit, like, yeah, man, that was a fantastic movie. I'd hit that with a strong 8.5 out of 10. I could even push it to a 9, but yeah, the more I talk about it, the more that I like it. I remember, like, when I finished watching, I was like, that was great. And I talk about it with my wife, and I talk about it with some homies at work. I'm like, you know what? I think I really, really like this movie, so maybe I'll push it to a 9. But The Padded, oh my goodness, what a movie. And now we go to another movie, all-time classic, never seen it, and that is Gladiator. Just the first one. I know the second one's out. It's kind of what's piqued my interest lately. I'm like, you know what? Never watched Gladiator before. I know I've seen parts of the movie, like all the famous clips, you know, the thumbs up, thumbs down. Are you not entertained? I've seen all that, but I never sat down and watched the whole movie. So I did, and fucking another banger, man. I mean, I'm just picking banger movies. Like, I think this one, like, picture of the year when it came out. It's from 2000. It still looks really good. The scale of the movie is very impressive. Some of the set pieces are insane. Like the Colosseum. Oh my Lanta. It looks incredible. Absolutely incredible. The Colosseum stuff is great. Man, some of the violence it's up there, man. They got some violent motherfuckers getting cut in half. Now I'm a terrible person, but this made me bust out laughing because I was just like, damn. But early in the movie, there's a child. And there is a group of horses, a group of army men just galloping towards this child. And you're like, is that kid going to move? And that kid did not move, and he got absolutely demolished by a stampede of horses. It was fucking hilarious. I was just like, wow, he got absolutely obliterated. But in terms of the story, simple story, just about revenge, man. It's some piece of shit fucking... what do you call him? I don't know, like Caesar, Julius Caesar and all those guys. He fucking ends up getting power, and he hates Russell Crowe's character, Maximus. What a name. But yeah, so he kills his whole family, and yeah, it's a revenge story, and a very good one at that. I was very excited to see how Joaquin Phoenix's character came along. It was a very good performance. Again, maybe I set myself up for a little bit too much, but I thought it was very good. He's had better performances in his career, but yeah, it was a very, very enjoyable movie, man. Like, I don't think they had, like, CGI or anything like that. I believe the tigers and everything like that was real, and it looked really good. I'm impressed, man. That was a great movie. 8 out of 10, absolute banger. Definitely worth the watch. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's really good. All right, let's talk about some TV shows, or just TV show. It's the only watching Dexter New Blood right now, and I'm in, man. I am super into this show. I'm pleasantly surprised at how good it is. It's not the best season of Dexter, but it's I'd say it's better than the last couple of seasons in Dexter. I'm enjoying it. There's some fun twists. The characters are pretty good. I'm just happy to be back in Dexter, man. I'm just happy there's more Dexter to watch. I am very excited now to watch I think it's, what the fuck is it called? I don't remember. The prequel show. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. I saw a little clip of Deb's character, and I was like, oh man, I really want to watch this. I can't wait to see young Deb and how fired up she is and shit like that. So yeah, dude, I am very much so enjoying Dexter New Blood, and that's all the stuff I've been watching. Let's talk about some video games. I'm still playing some 13 Sentinels, just kind of cleaning up the last waves of battles I got to do. I got like 4 or 5 more of those to do, and pretty much done with 13 Sentinels. But yeah, love that game. You can go check out the full review that I had on it. I think it was the last 2 episodes ago. Anyway, yeah, not that long ago. If you want a full review, there is that. And my main squeeze right now is Metroid Prime. All in right now on Metroid Prime. I find you really need to kind of give the Metroid games your full attention, because you can get so easily lost in these games. It's very easy to forget what the fuck you're doing. So I'm giving it my full attention. I'm about 10 and a half, 11 hours into the game now, getting close to the end. And yeah, man, it's a game that has inspired a new list that I'm going to do very soon, maybe next week, on games that I feel like have aged very well. And Metroid is absolutely one of those games. Crazy to think that this thing was on GameCube, and just like how well it still holds up as a video game. Very satisfying. There are some quarrels I have with the game. I'll probably discuss them in more detail on that episode about games that have aged well, or I may do a full review for Metroid Prime. We'll see where it goes. But I'm playing Metroid Prime, almost at the end of it now, and in terms of what I'm going to get to next. Actually, here's a fun thing. I was looking through my stuff, and I was looking at my DJ Hero, turntable, I guess that's what it is, and I was like, yo, I kind of want to play DJ Hero. So I went looking, I found my DJ Hero adapter, and I'm going to be playing some DJ Hero soon, y'all. So that is going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually very excited to play some DJ Hero. Maybe I'll get some in tonight. We'll see what my wife would like to do. But that's all I've been up to lately, giving a lot of time to Metroid and a lot of movie watching lately. I'm still in the mood. I'm going back. You know, I even have Taxi Driver, Robert De Niro classic from the 70s. I got that on my list I want to watch. My wife wants to watch it. So going back, trying to watch just some all-time classics that I just haven't watched yet. So trying to knock some of those off the list. And I'm doing pretty good so far. So that's all I got to say. Let me know what y'all have been up to into this new year. And let's talk about last year. Let's talk about all the games that I played last year. Oh, baby, 2024 was a big year for me, y'all. I had 60 titles that I played through this year. 27 games played on Sony, 15 games played on Nintendo, and 18 games played on Xbox consoles. 6 replays, 3 did not finish, and let's just dive into it, y'all. We're going to start off with Sony, because that's where most of the games I played were, and I have made a resolution this year. If you haven't checked out that episode, I would like to try and spread the love out a little bit more, and especially give more love to my Nintendo console, where I feel like my backlog is arguably probably the biggest right now, so I'm trying to finish off some Switch games, and getting ready for Switch 2, baby! At this time, when you're listening to this, they probably already announced it and showed it off and shit. I can't fucking wait, but that's an episode for a different day. So let's dive into it here. Like I said, I'm not going to go into full detail on every single game. A lot of these games on this list will have full episodes. And if I can remember them, I will let you know if there's a full episode on it. And let's start off in fashion, like I like to start off every year. I like to start off with a big one. And I started off the year with the Resident Evil remakes. Specifically started off with Resident Evil 4. It was phenomenal, outstanding video game. One of the highest scores I gave a game this year, 9.5 out of 10. Arguably could be a 10 out of 10, but I'm a stickler, and I don't like to give out 10 out of 10s all the time, but holy fuck, that game impressed me. I followed that up with Resident Evil 2. I finished off the second part of the campaign that I needed to finish off. I believe it was Claire's. And yeah, it took enough time away from the game that I was able to get re-terrified again, dealing with Mr. X. Fuck that guy. But I always say, as of right now, I think the best Resident Evil, overall, funnest, best replayable one is Resident Evil 4 Remake. But the truest Resident Evil game that will give you that true survivor horror is Resident Evil 2. So you can't go wrong with either of them. Both 9.5 out of 10. You got Metal Hellsinger. I liked this game a lot. I loved it at first, and it just kind of quickly dropped off. Got a little bit too samey, but very cool idea. It's just a metal game, or a game with metal music. Kind of plays like Doom. You're just killing demons in hell, but you got this outstanding soundtrack, and it's really cool. If you haven't checked it out and you like metal music, dude, get in there. It's a lot of fun. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Now, the first game I didn't finish this year was Outer Wilds. Now, not because the game wasn't any good. It was actually very, very cool. It was just, I was not feeling a puzzle game of that style. It's a puzzle game where you really just gotta go around trying things over and over again, trying to find a new piece of the puzzle. There's a lot of exploration. There's a lot of trial and error, and those aren't really my type of games, but I will absolutely give it its flowers. It is a very unique concept. I think it's very, very cool. If I saw it through to the end, who knows where it would have ended up on the list, but I sadly did not finish it, and I don't know when I'll get back to it, so we'll see what happens with the Outer Wilds, but it was a very cool game. We got Wolfenstein 2. Very surprised at how fucking good this game was. This is the first Wolfenstein I've ever played, and yeah, dude, it hit. It was clever, it was funny, it was filled with action, a fantastic first-person shooter campaign. If you're in the mood for that, a first-person shooter campaign, and you're played through all the Halos and the Call of Duties, yo, give Wolfenstein 2 a shot. It was awesome. It was a very good game. I actually got someone to buy it at work. I was very excited. He hasn't gotten to it yet because he's playing the other Wolfensteins, but I'm telling him, like, yo, this game slaps. Like, the first level, you're in a wheelchair trying to escape this Nazi blimp. Like, it's out of control, man. If you haven't checked out the Wolfenstein games, absolutely. I was an 8 at that. And we got a Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. That was a big part of my life for about a month there. I have a full episode on Sekiro, so you can go check that one out and, you know, listen to me and my struggles through that game. Arguably one of the, if not the hardest game I've ever played. It was incredibly difficult. Arguably too difficult. That's why it's not my favorite Souls game or my favorite FromSoft game. It just didn't give me that level of satisfaction when I beat a very difficult boss, particularly the final boss. The final boss to me was just very unsatisfying the way I had to fight him. It's not the way the game wants me to fight him, but it was the only way I can get fucking through him, and it wasn't all that enjoyable, but it's still an outstanding video game. 9 out of 10. We have one of my favorite games from last year, Yakuza Like a Dragon. Oh my goodness, Ichiban and the boys fucking love Yakuza Like a Dragon. It is outstanding. If you haven't gotten into the Yakuza games, I myself just got into the series 2 years ago. Started on Yakuza 1, and then I tried Like a Dragon, and oh my goodness. I will say I prefer Like a Dragon, that series, more RPG style, and the other one's kind of a beat 'em up, but very cool games, and I am just dying to get into Infinite Wealth, but I want to do Ichin first, and I'll probably get into that this year. That was an 8.5 out of 10. Rayman Legends. I've been on and off with this game for like years. I've still not finished it, and it's just such an awesome fucking 2D platform. It's gorgeous. It's super fun. Really fun to play co-op. I got my wife to play a little bit with me. Super fun game, man. All right, we got Final Fantasy 16. That was a big one. That's got a full episode, and it's absolutely in contention for my favorite Final Fantasy of all time. I have not played Rebirth yet, so I got to get there. But I chose to go with 16 this year instead of Rebirth or last year. Just, I don't know. It was the M rating that really piqued my interest. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what they're going to do with it. And I was pleasantly, I won't say surprised, but I was very happy. That game was awesome. That's a 9 out of 10. Sackboy: A Big Adventure, my wife and I finally finished. A good time. Like, it doesn't have like the Little Big Planet feel like it did back in the day. It's more of just a 3D platformer now, but it was a good time. The music was good. I hit it with like a 6.5, 7 out of 10. I have a 7 here, but yeah, it was all right. Animal Well, an incredibly impressive video game made by one person. One of the best indie games that I played this year. If you have not checked out Animal Well, it may not be for everyone. It's kind of a puzzle thing, and honestly, I don't remember a whole lot about the game, but it was very unique, very cool. Art style's insane, and the fact that it was made by one person, out of control. 8 out of 10. We got the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, knocked that off of my backlog list this year. I've never played the Crash Bandicoot games outside of Crash Bash, and yeah, it was good to finally get that one off the list. I will never play Crash Bandicoot 1 ever again for a particular level. I do have a full episode on the trilogy, so if you want me to go into detail on that level, you go check out that episode. I go into it. I will tell you how many times I died. It's embarrassing. But Crash Bandicoot trilogy, that was a great time. That's an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Moving out, number 1, my wife and I played. This is a very fun co-op game. Less stressful than Overcooked. It's just you and a partner, or 3, or whatever, moving shit in and out of houses. And yeah, chaos ensues. Very fun game. 7.5 out of 10. We have Shadow of the Erdtree. That's my first 10 out of 10 of the year. That might be the first 10 out of 10 I've ever given a game on this podcast. In terms of a DLC, it doesn't get any better than this. This is a 40-hour FromSoft video game. It's a full game in my books. It's amazing. The boss fights, it's crazy. It is so freaking good. Full episode on that one as well. And then I followed that up with another banger, Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, 9.5 out of 10. Full episode on that one as well, and I'm so happy this game finally hit with me. I've been trying to play it for years now, and it just wasn't hitting, and this year it finally hit. I got through it. It was incredibly fun. Maybe it's definitely not the best story, and it's my least favorite Snake that I've encountered. I was pretty let down with how the Snake character came around towards the end, but the gameplay speaks for itself. It is so incredibly fun. It just, yeah, if you're in any way, shape, or form a stealth fan, you have to play this game. If you like Hitman, if you like that kind of shit, dude, this game is fucking amazing. You just got to get through a little bit of a slow start, but once you're out in the world on your own and you just got all these devices, one of the funnest games I've ever played. We got The Force Unleashed, the Sith Edition, 6.5 out of 10. Now, I believe I have a full episode on this one. What hurt the score on this game was not so much the game, it was the performance of the game that really hurt me. And again, I still can't confirm if it was the streaming service on PlayStation or if it was just the game struggling on its own. I can't tell you. I've streamed other games and had no problems. I don't know, but if it ran smoother, it would have been a clean, good time, but there's definitely problems with the game. I've always wanted to play it. I remember playing the demo back in the day and finally getting to play it. It was a really solid time. There's definitely problems, but oh, so much potential with this game, man. There's so many fun mechanics. 6.5 out of 10. We have Marvel's Midnight Suns. A big surprise for me on this one. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. And this one also has a full review on the podcast. And what really got me into it was the fact that it was leaving the PlayStation Network in like 10 days. So I had 10 days to get it done. And I did. I played the shit out of this game. It's kind of like XCOM. Definitely not as hardcore as XCOM or difficult, but kind of like that XCOM style, but with Marvel characters. And you go into battle, you pick your squad, you come back home, and you're doing some shit, you're chatting and hanging out with the superheroes, getting to know them. It's like, oh, and a great cast of characters, man. I really like the variety. It's not just your typical Marvel guys. Like, they're in there, but they focus in on other people, which was very, very cool. And I really enjoyed Marvel's Midnight Suns. A lot more than I thought it was going to. It was a banger. All right, where are we at? Resident Evil HD. Holy fuck, yeah. This one was on my backlog list forever. Finally took it down, and this was a pleasant surprise, man. This game holds up way better than I thought it was going to. I've always been scared of the tank controls. I played the original way back in the day, but I really haven't touched Resident Evil, those original trilogies in their original form. I have not played them. But yeah, the tank controls, not only does it add like a tension and a fear to the game, and they're using their limitations to their advantage. It's incredible. It is an incredibly made video game. Very impressive. Still looks amazing. Plays awesome. I loved it. I freaking loved it. And if they ever do a Resident Evil remake for the first game, I would love for them to just add in this version of the game as well. Don't just, erase the old style of the game. I think we should take time and appreciate what they were able to do with the limitations of PlayStation 1 and the GameCube and everything. I think it's nothing short of fucking incredible what they were able to do with that game and the way they were able to build up tension using the limitations. And it's a scary game too. Filled with scares. Got a full episode on that one as well, so go check that one out. That's an 8.5 out of 10. We have The Plucky Squire, another indie game, delightful, super cool concept, super fun mechanics. You're switching from a 3D platformer to a 2D platformer. Very fun puzzles, super satisfying. If you have not checked this one out, I believe... I played this on PlayStation. They released it on their little PlayStation Network thingy. So yeah, this was a delightful little game, one of my favorite indie games of the year. And then we get some more indie games. We got Little Nightmares 1 and 2. Got a full episode on this one. And I have a episode on Plucky Squire as well. But the Little Nightmare games I've heard of. And yeah, I wanted something a little smaller to squeeze into my horror October thing that I did. So I played these and they were delightful. They were very fun. Not that scary, honestly. There are some very creepy enemies that you got to deal with. The ending of Little Nightmares 1 is outstanding, and then they just kind of take the epicness of that last level and they just kind of put it through the whole entirety of Little Nightmares 2. Big step up in just size. There's a lot more bigger moments happening in that game, and they were bangers, man. If you haven't checked out Little Nightmares, really fun, and I'm very excited for Little Nightmares 3, where they're actually going to have it co-op. The second game, they're playing around with co-op mechanics, but it's a single player game with like some light co-op mechanics, but the third one's going to be straight up co-op, and I can't wait. I think it's going to be awesome. We got Dead Space Remake, full episode on this one as well. And Dead Space, the original, that's one of my favorite games of all time. I think it is a masterpiece of horror video games. If this was the first time I ever played Dead Space, this could have been like a 9.5 out of 10, but I've already played it. I've already had those scares, and I remembered them so vividly that I was able to avoid a lot of the major scares in Dead Space Remake. But it is a lovely remake. Gorgeous video game. So beautiful. So pretty. And this one kind of slipped through the cracks because, 2023 was so big, or 22? Whichever year it came out, it was just such a massive year, and not a lot of love, not a lot of talk spent on Dead Space Remake, but it was awesome. I'd be super down for a Dead Space 2 remake, because I think that game is also excellent, but what a great time. Full episode on that one. That's an 8.5 out of 10. We got Bully. Oh, baby. That was such a fun time. I've had Bully on my list forever and ever and ever. I've literally wanted to play it since it came out back in the day. And the crazy thing is, my grandma would let me play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, but they drew the line at Bully, which is wild because Grand Theft Auto is the adult version of Bully. Bully is supposed to be it was supposed to be for me. I was a teenager at the time when it came out. That's what it was supposed to be for. For the kids that their parents didn't want to buy them Grand Theft Auto. Here, play Bully. And wow, super unique game. I just love the spins that they put on it. Instead of, hijacking cars and airplanes, you're stealing bicycles and riding a skateboard. Instead of shooting people with automatic weaponry, you're shooting them with slingshots and stink bombs and and they have that classic rockstar zaniness with the characters, the ridiculous over-the-topness. Music was awesome. Fucking yeah, dude, the gameplay, it still holds up. It doesn't look the best anymore, even in the HD versions. It's a little bit muddy and a little kind of gray-ish, but I had a blast with it, man. That was an 8 out of 10. That's got a full episode as well. Don't miss out on Bully, man. All right, we got Dark Pictures, The Devil in Me. So these Dark Pictures games, I think across the board, have underwhelmed me. None of them have hit the level of like Until Dawn or even like a Detroit Become Human. That game is also awesome, but these ones are okay. Like my wife and I, we played through all 4 of these episodes, and yeah, they're all just kind of like, yeah, at the end, very forgettable. Like I really don't remember a single thing through any of them other than they were just a little bit underwhelming. So, I mean, they're decent. Like, I like the fact that you can do it in kind of like a movie mode where you can play it with other people. So you say you got 3 friends, and at the beginning of the game, you guys pick like the characters that you're going to take control as, and then you pass the controller around when it's your character's turn. So that's really cool. I like that idea, but pretty underwhelming. We got Mass Effect 2. That's one of my replays this year. Mass Effect 2, one of my favorite games of all time. I fucking love it. And it was time for a Mass Effect 2 replay. And yeah, dude, that's going to lead into a Mass Effect 3 replay sometime this year. And I'm loving the story that I'm playing right now. Full renegade, just a piece of shit human, being bad to the bone. And it's awesome. I'm still getting new story parts in Mass Effect over 10 years later, and 5 replays. I'm still getting new things that I've never seen before. Blowing my mind. So Mass Effect, always going to be my baby. Love it. 8 out of 10. Actually, I did not score that game. I don't know why I said 8 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10. It's always going to be a 10 out of 10. Speaking of 10 out of 10, we got the next 10 out of 10. That's God of War, Ragnarok, and Valhalla, the DLC that goes with it. Holy fuck. I've waited years to play this game. I've waited patiently for a price drop or for it to come out on the PlayStation thing, and they never will. It's not coming, so I bought it, and it was amazing. Oh my, it might be the best video game I've ever played. It may not be my favorite, but it might be the best one I've ever played. Holy fuck. What a package. I mean, story, graphics, presentation, the pacing, the gameplay, the music, just everything is elite. Some of the best in its categories. The story I got so into, the characters of Kratos and fucking the goddamn kid Atreus, and like, oh, the gods were so cool. Thor and Odin were so cool, man. There's so many amazing moments in this game. Full episode on this one, of course. And Valhalla, wow, what an addition to that game, and it's for free. Like, oh my god, if you have not gone back and played Valhalla, do it, man. Absolutely do it. It adds a lot to the story. It adds a whole lot to the package of God of War Ragnarok, so absolutely check that one out. And I had to follow up Ragnarok with another God of War game, Ascension. I've never played Ascension before. I've had it forever. Actually, no, I didn't. I streamed this one, actually. My apologies. I streamed it. It streamed great, and I thought it was really good. It's just, more God of War. If you played the God of War games 1, 2, 3, it's that. It's just that. It's that combat. It's that feeling. It was good. I had a really good time with it. I thought I was going to play more God of Wars after, but I was like, you know what? I'm good here. I'll take a break. It gets repetitive. The combat's repetitive, but the music in that game, oh my god, looks amazing still. And yeah, dude, it didn't hit story-wise the way I was hoping it was going to. I was pretty excited to get the beginnings of Kratos' story, and it was just kind of like, huh? What the fuck is going on? Huh? I don't know. It didn't hit for me, but it was still a fun God of War game, absolutely. And, well, we got one. Nope, that was it. Those are all the PlayStation games that I played this year. All right, let's move on to Nintendo. I kicked off the year playing Dave the Diver. Oh, I still remember just that time frame. You have those sometimes when you're playing a game, and when you think back on it, you remember exactly like what season it was, and like I remember it was wintertime and it was chill and cold, but playing this like tropical beachy game, like snuggled up in my bed, was just absolutely beautiful. And so was the game. Awesome video game. Super fun gameplay loop. Got a full episode on this one as well. And yeah, dude, this is one I got to get back to because they've added some pretty intriguing sounding DLC that looks pretty cool. It's like a Godzilla thing, but what a delightful, just very charming, very funny, good cast of characters. The gameplay loop is very fun and satisfying. Throughout the day, you're in the ocean catching fish and finding mysteries, doing little things. And then at night, you're running your sushi shop and you're cooking and making food for everybody. Super cool. What an awesome little video game that one was. That's an 8.5 out of 10. When we go to Super Mario Sunshine, I think it won my disappointment of the year. Now, I'm hard on Mario games, y'all. I will say that right here. I'm not the biggest Mario fan. I like the games. I like them. I think they're all really, really good and great. But I think Mario is overrated, like ridiculously overrated. I understand how important he is, but the games are almost always the same. Anyway, I went back to play Mario Sunshine, which I knew going in had numerous problems. A lot of people don't like it, but I was like, I have to give it a chance. And I did. I gave it a chance, and it pissed me off big time. This game pissed me off so much. Some of the fucking level design is so bad. Like, it's just not Nintendo. And I did my research on the game to see what the hell was going on with it. Why is this game like this? What happened? And basically, they rushed it. They had to rush the game out to get something out on GameCube. The Luigi's Mansion didn't hit as big as they thought it was going to at the beginning of the system's life. So like, all right, we got to get a Mario game out here ASAP before we fucking die. So they did. They rushed it. It shows. There's a lot of issues with the game. I was not impressed. Yeah, man, it was a game that really pissed me off. There was some really fun levels. I mean, I love the theme of the game. I think the beach and the sunny, like, kind of holiday theme, I think that's really cool. The music's great. There's no story, as always. Yeah, man, it's just, it's good. We're going to look back on that one as some wasted potential or a missed opportunity right there. And another missed opportunity was the re-release of the 3D All-Stars package, where I played this, and they did nothing. They did abso-fucking-lutely nothing. They didn't have any options for the camera. The camera was fucked. They didn't upgrade any of the graphics. They didn't fix any of the problems with the game. So, again, this is another thing that, like, I just don't let, like, this is why I'm not a Nintendo fanboy, because this is the kind of shit that they do on a regular basis, but then they'll follow it up with something that'll make people happy and they'll make them forget about this. I don't fucking forget. So, yeah, the fact that you guys released this package for a limited amount of time and you just fucking phoned it in, man. Like, it was a weak freaking package. Like, I'm happy I own it because I don't have a way to play Sunshine outside of hooking up my Wii again. I really don't want to do that. So, I appreciate that it's out there, but yeah, that was a disappointment. My goodness. All right, we got Balatro. Oh, what an amazing game. The fact that I gave this an 8 out of 10, that's wrong. That's a 9 out of 10. This game rules. I need to go back to it and just get addicted again. Took an easy 30 hours of my life, like not even trying. Like I was just kind of playing it off on the side. And yeah, man, if you have not gotten onto Balatro, don't get worried about the poker mechanic. It is so fun. It is so brilliant. It is just awesome. So awesome. This is such a video game. Like, you're just like, man, just why is this so fun? It's so addicting, so simple, so genius. I love Balatro. So you gotta check that one out if you haven't yet. We got Fire Emblem. This was on the Game Boy Advance thingy on the Switch, and I really liked it. I'm a fan of the Fire Emblem games. I really like the 3DS game. Really like the Three Houses, I think it is, on Switch. Love that. And I wanted to go back. I was like, all right, let's go back. This is kind of like Wargroove, tile-based strategy RPG. And yeah, it was very long. It was like a 35-hour game. Just wouldn't fucking end. But if you like grid-based tactical games and you haven't tried out Fire Emblem, give it a shot, man. Maybe not this one in particular. Like, there are much better Fire Emblem games to play now. I would recommend the ones on 3DS. Those were, I think it's Awakening. That game is phenomenal. Phenomenal. So check those ones out. If you haven't, we got Pokemon Stadium 2. One of the big, excuse me. What a surprise. I had so much fun with Pokemon Stadium 2. Like, I couldn't even believe it. For years, I've been looking for a challenge in Pokemon, and I didn't think I was going to find this much of a challenge in Pokemon Stadium 2. If you play through the gyms and you do the rental Pokemon only, which is probably the only option you have nowadays because, you know, back in the day, you would just hook up your Game Boy or whatever and your Pokemon would get transferred into it or some shit. I don't have that option now, so I'm just using rental Pokemon, and the level of strategy is insane. I couldn't believe it. I'm using, like, fucking, like, just the worst Pokemon, and I'm taking down these monstrous Pokemon with them. I'm just like, this is blowing my mind. I'm pretty sure I got a full episode on that one as well, just discussing some of the teams that I went in there with. Blew my mind. It was so much fucking fun. Couldn't believe how much fun I had with Pokemon Pokemon Stadium. Let's move on. We got Metroid Zero Mission. This is another game that I did not actually get to finish, and this is why I am giving my full attention to Metroid Prime. I didn't give my full attention to Zero Mission. I probably went like 3 or 4 days without playing it, came back to it, was completely lost, and I was like, alright, I'm done, and that was that. So maybe one day I'll go back to it and play it again, but it was really good. I enjoyed it. It's a Metroidvania Metroid game. It's very good. Just didn't finish it. Sprout Valley. This is a really, indie game. Very tiny. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. But if you like Stardew Valley and you've played that enough and you're looking for something else, give this one a shot. Sprout Valley, I got it very cheap on Switch. It's, I'm trying to remember the game. It's kind of like a farming simulator. It's very Stardew Valley-ish. Just check out some gameplay. It's just like Stardew Valley Light. It was neat. I played it. I got a good like dozen plus hours into it. I played it quite a bit. I was pleasantly surprised with it. Gave it a chance, and it was a lot of fun. We got Mario Kart 8. Just replayed that. Obviously, everyone's played fucking Mario Kart 8 by now. It's a must-have on the Switch. And yeah, I just finished up all the 200cc, the reverse, and all the DLC, finished all those, got all the gold, and all that shit. Mario Kart 8, all time. We got Bayonetta 2, oh baby. So I finished off the second game now. I feel like I'm going to do a Bayonetta each year. My wife bought me Bayonetta 3 like 2 years ago for Christmas, and I was like, oh shit, I need to start playing Bayonetta now. And I did, and it is awesome. I will say I enjoyed Bayonetta 1 a bit more than Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta 2 was awfully short. It was only like 5 or 6 hours or something like that. And yeah, they're really replayable, but I just didn't feel like it. It's a gorgeous little game, super fun. I love the characters. It's if you like Devil May Cry, those kind of games, definitely check out Bayonetta, man. It is a lot of fun, very wacky, very over the top, but very cool. We got This War of Mine. You might have heard me talking about this game for like 4 months straight because I just couldn't stop playing it. It's another game on Switch that I took a chance on, picked it up for like $5, and I played it for like well over 50 hours. Still haven't technically put it down yet, but holy fuck, what a game, man. I couldn't believe how cool this game was. You're just trying to survive in these war times, and it's incredibly dark. You will have characters, disappearing, getting killed, suicide, all that shit. It's a grim game, but oh man, was it ever cool. What a fun freaking game right there. I've talked about it a million times, so I just want to, I'm going to move on. I replayed Portal 1 and 2. It was phenomenal. Those games are incredibly fun. I got through both of them in like 7 hours, and it was delightful. I really needed to replay Portal 2. I haven't replayed that game since I first played it, and it was so fucking good, man. That's still like a 9.5, 10 out of 10, man. It's like some of the best puzzle games there will ever be made. They are so fucking good. Please make a Portal 3 someday. Please, please. We got Pokemon Snap, another replay. I was just craving Pokemon Snap, man. I haven't played the new one on the Switch yet, and I was like, fuck it. I feel like playing Pokemon Snap, and I did, and it's still as delightful and charming and fun as it was when I played it as a kid. Yeah, it doesn't have all the Pokemon or whatever, but what a great little game. Had a blast replaying through that one. And I played Mario Wonder. Had to get a big Mario game in, and that was the one. And Mario Wonder, it hit. It wasn't one of my favorite games of the year. Like I said, I'm just not a big Mario guy, but I have to acknowledge it is probably the best 2D Mario game since Super Mario World. It is very unique. Well, not unique, just they just keep throwing new shit at you. The level design is ridiculous. Elephant Mario is awesome. So freaking awesome. Yeah, it was a delightful game. I went through everything. I collected all the fucking coins. Like, yeah, I liked it front to back. It was a delightful video game. Just not my favorite. I think I prefer 3D, but I'm still on the fence about that. I don't know yet. And I played a little bit of Pokemon trading card game on the Game Boy Color. I never played it as a kid, and it's really cool. I've actually, like, never really played Pokemon trading card game. Like, me as a kid, I just liked the cards. I collected the cards. I did not play with them. And as a kid, I wouldn't have understood the game anyway. But yeah, played a little bit of that. Didn't finish it or anything, but I just played it a little bit. And those are all the Nintendo games that I played. So let's finish it off with the Xbox. Kicked off my Xbox season with Jedi Survivor, Star Wars. That was like, oh yeah. I was like, I wanted to get it in at the end of 23. Didn't fit it. And I was like, oh, that's the first one I'm getting into. And it was awesome. I believe I have a full episode on that one as well. Same thing with Mario Wonder, Pokemon Snap, Portal, Bayonetta 2, I think. There's a lot. Anyway, Jedi Survivor. Damn. Improved on pretty much everything from the first game. It was cleaner. It ran better this time around. Some very fun and difficult boss fights thrown in there. The story's really cool. I love the character, Cal Kestis. Like, yeah, dude, it was a banger Star Wars game. Absolute. Best one I played that year. We got Pal World. Technically didn't finish this. I got into Pal World when it dropped, just like everyone did, and that craze of Pal World was a very crazy time. It was fun. It was very surprisingly fun. I had it initially as my surprise hit of the year, but I dropped it so fast because I was like, all right, I'm interested, and I will go back when the full version of the game comes out, if we ever get there, if Pokemon and Nintendo don't sue them into oblivion. But what a cool game, man. It borrows heavily off of the Pokemon formula, but it looks good. There's guns, and yeah, dude, it's pretty sweet. I didn't play a lot of it, maybe 10 hours. Got a good feeling for it. It can absolutely be very addicting. I just want to wait for the full game to come out. We got Persona 3 Reloaded. This was the biggest RPG I took down this year, or last year. They're massive, the Persona games, but they are some of my favorite games of all time. I will say that Persona 3 was my least favorite of the 3, 4, and 5 that I've played, but not by much, man. It's like, you got Persona 5, that's like 10 out of 10. Then you got Persona 4, which is like 9 out of 10, and then this one's like 8.5 out of 10. Like, it was just, yeah, dude. I love Persona so much. I absolutely understand they're not for everybody. They're very big JRPGs, but I cannot get enough of that loop. I love the loop so much of every day. You got to make everything count on your days. Like, okay, I got to make my relationship. I got to build relationships. I need to go do this and build up my skills. Oh, I need to go out and fight demons at night. So cool. I love Persona. Now we got Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. Played this one with my wife. We love the Lego games, love playing them together. I just think I think we just done the Star Wars one too many times at this point, and yeah, we burned out on this one pretty quickly, but it is what it is. The Lego games are the Lego games. We got Metal Gear Rising. This was one that I've had on my radar ever since it came out. I remember watching the demo for this thing and the dude cutting up the watermelons with the katana and the control, and I was like, that looks so cool. And I can confirm that mechanic still to this day is one of the coolest I have ever played with. You get this slow-mo katana thing and you can cut up your enemies in any way you want, a dozen fucking different pieces. It is so cool, but goddamn is it ever hard. Definitely one of the hardest games I've played of all time, I would say. Definitely one of them. That boss fight, what's his name? I can't remember, but notorious boss fight in Metal Gear Rising, and I absolutely understand why. That motherfucker was hard, and he's not the only hard boss, and I almost tapped out on like the first boss in the game. It kicked my ass so hard. It's not an easy video game, but is it ever cool? Crazy fast-paced action, kind of like your Ninja Gaiden's Devil May Cry kind of thing, Bayonetta. And yeah, dude, with Raiden, and Raiden is at his peak badassery in this one. Ninja Cyborg, like, come on, dude. It's cool. It's a very cool video game. I can't recommend it for everyone because it is so hard. I have a full episode on that one, I believe, as well. Same thing with Persona 3 and Jedi Survivor. 7.5 out of 10 for Metal Gear Rising. Up next, we got SnowRunner. I did not finish this game. I was just so curious. I looked at it, I was like, okay, it looks incredibly slow. It's a very sim-heavy driving game where you're driving like these big rigs and fucking giant trucks in like snowy, rough weather. and you're literally like the gameplay is you getting fucking through mud pits and climbing up big treacherous mountainsides and like crazy shit like that. It's just very, very slow, pretty fucking tedious. I don't have like a racing wheel or anything. It would be a lot funner with a racing wheel, but on controller, it's the whole thing is just kind of tedious and monotonous. Like, I remember one time I took a wrong fucking turn and ended up on the side of a mountain cliff, and I was stuck, and I'm like, well, fuck, and I had to restart, and it sent me, like, all the way back, and I'm like, I'm not doing that fucking drive again. That's insane. But a very unique game, man. I know people out there love it, and I get it. I can absolutely see this game being awesome. If I had a rig, man, like a steering wheel and everything, this would be dope. My buddy, the homie Kyle, has it. And, like, yeah, I could totally see this being fun with a wheel and everything, but just not for me. Sorry, but I was so curious I had to give it a shot. I had to try it out, and it was cool. We got Forza Motorsport. Clearly, I was in a racing theme right here at this point of that year. I got into Forza Motorsport. It's Forza. You're driving one series after another. Here's another series of races. Here's a series of races. Hey, did you want to do a series of races? Here's some series of races. And that's what kills driving games for me now because of Horizon, where Horizon is like, here's races, here's jumps, here's fucking stunts, here's all this variety and this big open world, a zillion cars to drive. Just, it doesn't get any better than Forza Horizon. Every now and again, sometimes I just feel like driving. I'll pop on some Forza Motorsport, but it's just 2-1 note. 2-1 note for me, but it was still a very good racing game. 7.5 out of 10. We got Persona 5 Tactica. I was very excited for this game, not gonna lie. Based off of one of my favorite games ever, and you're gonna put it into a tactics form. Oh, baby, you're speaking my language. It was good. I did end up dropping it. I did not finish the game. It just didn't draw me in. The mechanics just weren't, like, they were unique. There was some cool, like, if you get enemies, like, inside of a triangle with your people, you do this, like, cool mega attack. I was like, alright, that's kind of cool. But the story elements of the game weren't hitting. I just didn't like how the story was being presented in that kind of, like, storybook form. It just wasn't hitting for me. The gameplay was good, but not good enough to keep me, like, addicted to it. It was just kind of like, oh, yeah, no, it's good. It works. It's pretty fun. Everyone's kind of got some unique stuff going on, but it just didn't do it. It just didn't do it for me, which is a little bit disappointing because I love all tactics games. Just this one, it just wasn't it, sadly. I'm disappointed. Speaking of disappointed, we got NHL 24. Oh, boy. Just a waste. Stop making these games every fucking year. Well, you just put one out, make it a service. You know, every year put out the roster update, put a little thing here and there, and then work on a brand new, like, rebuild NHL from the ground up, build that bitch up, and make NHL games great again. Give me that PS3 era from, like, NHL, like 07 till, like, 14, they were untouchable. They were so fucking good. And from 15 onward, they've been so mid and just, there's been a couple of okay ones. Like, I think 16 and 17 were okay. But, yeah, man, I haven't been into the NHL games the way I was in a long, long time. I've heard some okay things about 25, but just like, I don't know, man. It needs a whole rebuild. Really, really does. Like, it would be great if we can get things like what they're doing in MLB The Show. If you can give me a story mode in my NHL game, like, hey, let's follow the career of Wayne Gretzky. Let's follow the career of Gordie Howe through 5 generations of hockey. Like, follow a story. Like, pick a story and follow it in the NHL. Like, there's a lot of cool stories. You can follow the Edmonton Oilers dynasty. You can follow the Canadiens dynasties through the 70s and the all the time. They always have dynasties, but yeah, man, there's like a lot of cool shit. There's a lot of great stories in the NHL. That's one of the cool things about hockey in the NHL. There's so many cool, unique, once-in-a-lifetime stories, and, like, cash in on that. Same way that they're doing it in MLB and NBA and shit. Like, give us a story mode that's, like, actually good. You know? Anyway, yeah, NHL 24, disappointing. That's like a 5 out of 10. All right, where are we? Diablo 4. All right, this one's interesting. I didn't get into Diablo 4 anywhere near as much as Diablo 3. My problem, it just felt too much of the same. it didn't feel very different at all from Diablo 3 from what I can tell. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that I grinded so much in Diablo 3. I got so many characters up to max level, and like even with that the gap between 3 and 4, I was playing it, and like I got bored pretty quickly, honestly. I was like, it's just I don't know. It just Diablo 4 didn't hit that much for me. I played it with some homies, and like it was a good time, but yeah, none of us really stuck with it. I hit it with like a 7.5 out of 10, or like an 8 or something. It's still a great game. It just didn't hit. We got Little Kitty Big City, one of my favorite indie games of the year. Super cool game. It's not perfect. It's got some problems, but you're playing as a cat in this like city, Little Kitty Big City, and you're finding these little adventures. It's so cute and charming. I loved it. I had a blast with Little Kitty Big City. We got Moving Out 2, the sequel to Moving Out. You're moving more shit, and it's a lot of fun. My wife and I had a blast with that. I played some Galactic Care. I'm still kind of playing Galactic Care. I'm not done with that game yet. Every once in a while, I'm like, it's good, man. If you liked the, 2 points, if you like the 2 points hospital, 2 points campus, this is almost exactly the same type of game. It does lack the charm of 2 points, but the gameplay is essentially the exact same. So if you need some more of that, Galactic Care is the game for you. We got Vemba. Vemba was a good time. It's like a 2-3 hour game, very easy to get through, but very fun story about different cultures and their cooking and just how other people live life. Very fun, charming story. Check it out for sure. It is a short and sweet game. Definitely check it out. We have the Hellblade games. All right, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice and Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga. Two very different stories here. I have a full episode on it if you want to get into more detail on that, but didn't vibe very much with Hellblade 1, but vibed a lot with Hellblade 2. So that's kind of where I'll leave it at right there. I hear different things about these games all the time. Literally just this week, I heard someone say, like, I vibed hard with the first game and didn't like the second game at all. Just all the themes didn't hit with them. I'm like, very interesting. Very interesting. Everyone's got different tastes. I just didn't like the mechanics of the first game. They didn't really change them that much in the second game, but they made it a lot better and less tedious to get through. But are probably the best looking game on the market in my books. Senua's the second one. Unfucking believable looking game. So pretty. So damn pretty. If you have an Xbox, don't miss out on Hellblade 2, man. Give it a shot. Give the first one a shot if you want to, but it's a little rusty. And we got Call of Duty Black Ops 6. All right, okay, what do we do here? The online wasn't for me. I got, I played online pretty hardcore with the homies for like the first 2 weeks, and yep, I got pissed, and that's when I draw the line. I'm like, okay, when the community starts to get sweaty, and people are just taking advantage of things, and just, ruining the gameplay, I'm out. That's it. All right. We got, basically what happened is I think this was prior to them releasing the ranked playlist, and we just had a whole bunch of PC kids and just tryhards in the lobbies, and it was just a horrible time. I think the maps suck. There's not one fucking map in that game that stood out to me as like, oh, I love playing this one. They have to always rely on bringing back old classic maps. And yeah, I haven't had a new map in Call of Duty that tickled my pickle in a long fucking time, man. And these maps are just very, very mid. But the campaign, wow. Are probably the best campaign I've played in Call of Duty since like Call of Duty 4, man. I'm serious. This shit was really good. Good variety, some serious twists, and there's like a horror fucking theme in there at one point. I was like, whoa, what are we doing with this shit? Very cool story, man. I was very pleasantly surprised with how good the campaign was. Excellent. Zombies, I had a blast with that. I only played a few times, but Zombies was great. That's the most fun I've had with zombies in quite a few years as well. And I've just heard that Prop Hunt came out not too long ago, so I may be coming back to Call of Duty for a little bit of Prop Hunt, because, man, is Prop Hunt ever a blast. So funny. So there is that. I have a full episode on it. And yeah, you can check it out. But multiplayer, it still wasn't doing it for me, man. I don't know. I'm just not really a multiplayer guy anymore. It's just too stressful. And the final game, this is the last game that I played this year, and that is Indiana Jones, baby. Now I have seen some publications putting Indiana Jones in their Game of the Year category. I think that's batshit crazy. It's a great game. It is a banger. It's a lot of fun. It is way better than it has any right to be, I feel like. I feel like this was easily going to be like a 6.5, 7 out of 10 kind of game, but knocked their socks off, I think, like, universally. I think everybody's pleasantly surprised. The combat's a little goofy. It's not the tightest, but it's fun. It's kind of funny as well. They just nailed what it feels like to watch an Indiana Jones movie. They just nailed the theme, man. Like, the theme of the game is perfect to the movie. It's got funny, it's got horror, it's got great action, it's got adventure and mystery. It's just excellently done. This is one of the best Indiana Jones movies out there. Like, if you watch this as like a movie, it's fucking awesome. It's a great Indiana Jones movie and a great game. I hit it with like an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a really fun game. The stealth was pretty fun, and yeah, I'm just pleasantly surprised. I'm so happy Xbox got a win with Indiana Jones. I thought it was just going to be another disappointment for Xbox. Yes, it's coming out on PlayStation, but Xbox got it first, and it was a lot of fun on Xbox. And holy shit, that's all the games? That's it? Damn, I thought this was going to take a lot longer than that, but hell, we got it in in an hour. That's pretty good. All right, everybody, that's all the games that I played in 2024. Did you beat me? Did you play more games than me? Do we have a similar list? That would very much so impress me. If somehow you managed to have a lot of the same games that I played on your list as well. That would be very, very cool and a little bit scary. Not gonna lie. Regardless, 2024 was awesome. Lots of great video games in there, man, and every year it just keeps getting better and better and better, and my backlog gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's just getting ridiculous nowadays, but hell, I'm here for it. I'm playing games, and I'm having a blast doing it. So hopefully you guys had a blast listening to this episode, listen to me ramble on for an hour about video games, but yeah, I had fun doing it. So there we go, everybody. Another episode down in the books. Thank you so much for listening. You the best. You want to be even more of the best, though, make sure you're reviewing and liking the podcast, share it around with a few thousand of your friends and enemies, all that great stuff. Got a Twitter page. I don't really do anything with it anymore. I'm trying to figure out where I want to go next, but there's a Twitter page. You can go over there, check it out. And there's a YouTube channel that I'm active on the YouTube. I upload all these episodes to the YouTube channel, GamerGX Videos. Go over there, subscribe, follow along, and drop a comment on one of the YouTube channel episodes. You want a question answered live on the pod, send in something on Twitter, comment, email, anything like that. I would love to answer your question live on the podcast, shout you out, and all that great stuff. That'd be cool. And in terms of what we got going on with the podcast this week, okay, so we got the wrestling recap. If there's a pay-per-view, I'll have a pay-per-view review out for that. I will safely say I feel like next episode for the GamerCast will be games that have aged like a fine wine. We'll be talking about those games and the Hockey Cast. Homie Jesse just gave me a fantastic idea for the Hockey Cast next week. They've released their quarter-century teams for all 32 teams in the NHL, so we'll go through. I don't know if we'll get through all of them, but we'll see what happens. We're going to go through some, and that's going to be very interesting. I just went to the Buffalo Sabres, and I was already like, oh my god, I have to talk about this. It's going to be crazy. So that's what we got planned for this week for the GamerCast, and there we go, everybody. Thank you again so much for listening. You're the best, and we'll be back with some GX Plus Cast.